What's up, y'all? My name is Sean Kelly. I'm a neuroscience student here at Temple. I'm on a pre-med track. I'm also minoring in chemistry. And today we're going to be talking about Cajal. He's a Nobel Prize winner. His birthplace is Spain. He's really good at art, but he ultimately went to medical school and became a doctor because of his father's wishes. And the point of this article is basically how we could tie neuroscience into our hobbies, because to ultimately find that happiness and comfort factor, we as humans have to do what we're ultimately interested in and what we like doing. And I have a lot of hobbies. Some are like making music. I'm trying to get into drawing. I actually want to learn different languages. I like snowboarding. I like watching anime. But the biggest thing I'm trying to do is content creation, and basically relate that to neuroscience in every single video. Hence the name of my channel, which is Neuro SK, standing for my initials at Sean Kelly, and it's also neuroscience kid, you know what I'm saying? So we got that going. And Cajal, he made around 29 art pieces based off of histology. He wouldn't use a microscope or anything to trace. He just did it off of looking at them and memory. And he's very inspiring because he shows us that even if you have other interests, you still could use your time to dedicate towards those interests, even if you're working all the time as a doctor. So in this video, we're gonna relate that to what I'm trying to do, which is content creation. I'm gonna collect statistics and data and build tables to form hypotheses, and we're gonna have results. And we're basically gonna prove that even though you're a busy person, you could still have hobbies and do what you like. I also will be using this video that I'm posting to my YouTube channel as a assignment. So it's a vlog. Well, it is a blog, but I asked the professor if I can make it into a vlog for my own assignment. And basically the prompt is: take some time and words to reflect on how you relate to Cajal's life. You want to be a scientist, a physician? Do you work unrelated to science? Maybe you don't know yet. What are some interests or hobbies of yours that might help you understand neuroscience better, or to make a unique contribution? So hobbies of mine, again, content creation is what's going to make my understanding of neuroscience better. Also in other fields like psychology, philosophy, anthropology, a whole bunch of different stuff. Neuroscience could help in music, for example, by using certain frequencies to calm minds or release other feelings or other senses. Neuroscience could help with drawing. I could draw histology like Cajal. I could draw anatomical positions, body parts, organs, which would prepare me for medical school and being a doctor. Neuroscience could also be related to content creation. You're literally going out of your way to talk to people, documentaries, interviews. You're digging deep on questions that people usually don't ask and usually don't come across the media, like touchy subjects, but also it's going to be backed by research and built on education as a foundation. So this YouTube channel is ultimately one of my biggest goals this year to accomplish. I want to make a lot of videos, be around Temple campus, different parts of Philly, maybe even other areas. But yeah, we're gonna dive in deep. Let's get into the video.
It was only to comply with his father's wishes that Cajal turned his back on art to enroll in medical school in the city of Zaragoza, now far from his birthplace in northeastern Spain, Patilla de Aragon. After his graduation, Cajal became fascinated by histology, the study of tissues. This interest allowed him to apply his early artistic training, and perhaps most importantly, his artistic eye, to brain research, where Golgi only saw an impenetrable jungle of interlinked vines and branches. Cajal was able to parse each alder, aspen, and poplar. The complexity of the forest did not blind him to the individual trees.
I actually feel Cajal in this one because there's so many things I want to do in life. And there's so many different careers too. Like maybe I could be an archaeologist or a general contractor or a dancer or a professional snowboarder. There's a lot of things. Or maybe I can make my own anime, but I always think that I'm never gonna have time to even attempt or approach these things in general. So Cajal, he's motivating in that way because he still relates art to science, and it's amazing how he does that in the work that he has accomplished.
I had the opportunity to witness this phenomenon firsthand. My postdoctoral advisor at Harvard Medical School had many hobbies. He played the flute and the piano, and at one point taught himself Japanese for the purpose of giving an invited lecture in Japan, which greatly impressed his audience. It may be that such activities make scientists' creative juices flow. Recognizing this possibility, Root Bernstein and his co-authors advocate that STEM trained should not sacrifice the instruction in the arts. And it could be also mean that a creative mind cannot be contained, but will pursue endless opportunities for stimulation inside as well as outside the lab.
So examples like this professor from Harvard just show that having a creative mind and using it to pursue other things outside of your field is very useful, and it could teach you many things, and it could really build up connections. Like him learning Japanese allowed him to go to Japan for a lecture, which could also open up so many doors, just having another language under your belt and relating that to neuroscience. And it's crazy because I'm actively trying to learn Japanese right now, and that's another one of my goals for this channel this year. And I don't know if I want to go to Japan yet, but just reading this article shows me that my desire to learn Japanese could lead me in so many other places outside of working as a doctor or a scientist, or it could help me work as a doctor in other places in the world that I never thought I would ever be in. So after my mother's stroke, I actually became fascinated with neuroscience itself. And I knew I had to understand the complexity of this field to a certain degree before I can start actually doing the things that I wanted to do with it. I do want to help clinically with people that are struggling, which is why I want to become a doctor. I also want to become a scientist because I like collecting results. I like figuring out certain things about people, their environment, certain circumstances that people end up in that people don't really like to talk about. And I'm gonna do that today in this video. We're gonna collect statistics, we're gonna put it all together. I got my cameraman here with me, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna be all around Philly, and I'm gonna prove to you guys how I'm gonna connect neuroscience with my personal hobby. I'm a neuroscience student here at Temple. What are you doing here at Temple?
Sports media.
Sports media. All right. With the recent shooting that just happened at Chipotle, how safe do you feel here in Philadelphia as a student on a scale of 1 to 10?
Probably say an 8.
An 8? And what are your thoughts about that? What can we do to improve on the safety down here?
I think part of it is also people have to be smart. Smarter. You can't walk around, with your head in your ass. You know what I mean? You got to have your eyes up at all times, and be conscious of your surroundings, because we are in a major city. But that's, I feel pretty safe here.
I do feel safe as well as a student here. So when it comes to school and balancing our life between hobbies we're interested in, there's a lot of things I want to do personally. And school takes up a lot of time. So does work after school. So how would you recommend other students balance that so they could still pursue their hobbies while being in work?
I think, time management, prioritizing work before school. And, schoolwork before other hobbies, and then once you do that, you have more free time afterwards. So.
And then what hobby would you like to pursue that you wish you had more time to do?
I feel like I'm able to pursue everything I want to do right now here at Temple, so can't really say there's anything.
Temple does offer a lot of opportunities here, so it's a good research facility, which is what I'm trying to do, proven with this video. And thank you for the interview, Jaden.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Have a good day. All right, Paul, with the recent shooting at Chipotle, how would you say, what level of safety do you feel here in Philadelphia on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd say it's mostly a 7 because I haven't really seen it. I think I'm good for now, but I think it's mostly me just assuming that I probably won't be affected.
Okay. And then when we are in school, we're students deciding on what career we want, what we're going to spend most of our time in our life doing. It's hard to get sidetracked with that and not focus on hobbies and what actually makes us happy. How would you recommend students and people that work in their careers to put time aside to focus on their hobbies?
I think that usually, well, at least for me, if you want to, just get some friends on it. Because in between the work and the tiny breaks you get, if you have friends with you, it's easier to get through it.
That is true. And then are there any hobbies that you have that you want to put more time to, but you can't really do that as a student and focusing on other parts of life?
I guess I want to maybe start planting things.
Okay.
Start a small garden in my dorm, but not enough time to watch over it.
That's cool, man. That's great. Thank you for the interview.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Have a good night, Paul.
You too.
Right now, kind of like a 5.
And you?
Similar answer, probably 5 or 6.
What do you guys think we can do as students and workers in this area, also as civilians, to improve the safety of our children and our family?
I think we should just watch out for each other, because people just kind of walk by and then see things happening, just be about their day.
That is true.
I think promoting like a more like healthy like culture within the city, you know, and like emphasizing more like peace and love. Like I feel like there's too much culture revolved around violence that's just been like normalized. I think
Yeah, I
that
completely
could play a
agree.
big
And
role.
as a student, how would you say you could balance your hobbies well with your major and your future career aspects?
Right now I'm not doing so well when it comes to like balancing, but I guess for the future, I guess just got to get more out there and get more involved in like what we're doing as a school and as a community.
You?
Yeah, man, same thing. It's just it's hard to balance like student and like personal life, but I think, you know, just being able to like keep track of your tasks and like being able to find a way to like manage your time properly is like the key.
And then a lot of people also they let themselves down because they focus so much of their time into pressure from society. I have to do this to make money, or I have to do this to look good to the outside world. So how would you say you could find your happiness or comfort factor in life? And what kind of things could you do on an everyday basis that could ultimately get you in a happier spot?
I'd just say be yourself, and when it comes to what I mean by that is kind of just like when it comes to planning your schedule, of course make it about school, but also make it about yourself. Like if you don't got time for somebody else, or all your friends are doing something together and you don't got that type of time, then tell them no and just, you know, reschedule, recuperate for another time. And just like self-orient yourself, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I'd say make sure you like don't get in your head about like societal expectations. You don't always need a degree to be successful in life. You know, I think everybody should be able to, or should remember that, because I think that's a narrative that's like too far and few between. Like, you know, people constantly reinforce this narrative, and yes, having a degree is like good for building a career, but you know, there's so many ways like to build wealth and a career without a degree these days that it's like, you know.
I hear that. All it takes is hard work and commitment.
Exactly.
And just do what you love and stay happy, yo. All right, thank you for the interview. After reading this article about Cajal, I'm really starting to realize that working school comes first. Like the students were saying in the interviews, your hobbies, when you have the free time, dedicate to them, because we're not here forever. The apples are on the tree, and you have to pick the apples. You have to get those experiences, those opportunities, do what you like. Chase your happiness and your comfort factor, because you can. You have the ability to. And if you're a hardworking person, your due diligence, and you're committed enough to school and work, and trust me, you can put that to your hobbies. You can go learn a new language, practice something, get really good at it, master something new, get efficient at it. You know, but Kajal really showed that smart individuals can still have fun. Hardworking individuals can still have fun. Doesn't mean go out and party. So this video is supposed to do a lot of interviews. I wanted to do 20 and compare all the results in the end, see which types of areas were ranking more in the lower safety range, and I was assuming that Temple was going to be on the higher safety range because most students haven't really been exposed to the majority of Philadelphia, and those were the results I was trying to catch so I could form different hypotheses from observations. But unfortunately, it's snowing, and I didn't have time to go all around Philly with the equipment I have. I have no camera, I have no Bluetooth audio set up. This was for an assignment, so the next video will be a way higher quality. But for now, this is what we're dealing with.